Future of audio system. So really, to improve quality, we should go for an active system. We can only guess why active speaker systems are not popular in current audiophile world, or not becoming popular. I think the main reason is that you should pay for both. You should pay for speakers and you should pay for amplifiers, and then the price is very high. To reduce the price, there are compromises with amplified qualities. When I talk to some audiophile people about the total lifetime spendings, those spendings are close to 10K. Some of them really pay 10K. Of course, they bought something, they sold something, then they bought another device. But anyway, and the concept should be different. And how I see a solution is that the speaker box become a furniture. So there is no electronics in a speaker box, just a wooden or other material box and speakers in it, and speaker outputs are passively connected to amplifier. And for 3-way active system you need 6 amplifiers, like 1, 2, 3 for each channel, 1, 2, 3. And one amplifier should be powerful. For a woofer it should be at least 400 and more watts, between 400 and kilowatt, I would say, for a larger system. And for mid-range and tweeter we can go with a lower power. So, and this is our answer to market demand. We decided to put in a rack mount size. This is a 2U rack mount size, and also we have a rack mount brackets what you can attach in case of using some rack mount benefits. Why it is needed, if you mix consumer audio and professional audio, and today professional audio is becoming better and better and better in quality, we can significantly reduce the price. And I would say that all amplification and active crossover and other stuff for active speaker system shouldn't exceed 1500 or 1500 euros. It's relatively hard to fit in that price for a real high-end, but it is possible. And here is an answer. Also, when I thought about the concept, it should be relatively small, and this is relatively small size. It measures 43 centimeters in a width, 200 centimeters in a depth, and 9 centimeters on a height. For consumer applications, we can use rubber feet, and those are just sticking in a corners, and then you have everything what you need for a cooling, and also they stay and they are not slippery. Everything is great. Also, you need for such high power you need a cooling system, and it's made in a way that the highest power is closer to the intake air, and then low RPM silent fan is taking air out of the system. Also to cool some other amplifiers, that is intake in the sides as well. Another challenge is interconnection between your multi-channel amplifiers and speaker box. So if you agree the speaker box is just a furniture, it's well-built cabinet and speakers with the speaker outputs for connection. And after long hesitating, because you can put three connectors here, consumer connectors, and also you can do it, but there's a big chance of mistakes, and if you put a woofer to tweeter, it will be a big problem. You will burn your tweeter, and you will not hear it even until you recognize that something is wrong. And there in a professional industry there is 8-pin speaker. Has one click and it's done. And inside this wire, it still becomes interconnection with the speaker. You have one wire. Inside of this wire, at least I put 1 millimeter copper core wires, 2 for tweeter, 2 for mid-range, and for a woofer I put 2 square millimeters wire, and optimum lengths, after some customers bought that system, the optimum length for your system is 7 meters. You can go 7 or 10 meters, there is no big difference with that. Those wires measures with a low resistance, and also when you are driving that speaker system actively, it's by far less critical, because impedance of the speaker is really flat. But then it comes to this really easy connection. and also it is easy to disassemble, and there is like it's foolproof. You can't make mistake. Once everything is set, you can't make mistake. Yeah, it rises cost for 20 euros, but I think it is worse. Another decision, we will go for a balanced inputs and high quality balanced inputs, because then you can use professional crossovers. And what is good with the professional crossovers? They are built by the book, there are no compromises. There are limited number of models, but you can choose from them, and all of them are working well. Also, those who are really fanatic about speaker management can go for digital crossovers, but I think analog crossovers are okay. And one more thing, 12-volt trigger. It allows you to remotely control all amplifiers at once. They go in a sleep mode, and with a 12-volt trigger you wake up. And when you have a modern streamers or home theater systems, they have a 12-volt trigger out, and then with remote control you control all your system. I would say that this active part should be one-time set, hidden somewhere, and then managed only by 12-volt trigger, and that means it is invisible. And all the operation and costs and modernization will come with the streamers and home theater systems. Let's look inside, and I will open what is inside. You can see there are 6 channels, and the woofer is based on Ice Power 100 2000 Ace2, but you can also put 2000 series. Those are 100% compatible, but as I said, I don't see scenarios where you really need a kilowatt for a woofer in active speaker settings. And the mid-range and tweeter are driven by 200 Ace2 series Ice Power boards. And this is really compact design for such amount of power and components. To reduce the size, 200 series boards are set vertically, and airflow is coming from the sides, but they're really working on a gentle temperature. What else we have? Here is a PWM board. It manages that silent PWM fan, and in normal operation it is inaudible. And then we have one board to put everything together. Let's say it's kind of motherboard. It provides a 12-volt trigger, electronics, and also an interconnection between the boards that they seamlessly work. Also, it is possible to work individually. The 1200 board is a master, so you can just switch off some other boards and use only one board. You can use a stereo amplifier if you want. And it also gives you a flexibility that you can buy a kit and then add components through the time being. Another scenario what you can use besides the active speaker system, in case you have a large fronts, high quality fronts for a home theater system, then you can build fantastic home theater system. There are 6 channels, 2 of them are high power, so you can use that high power channel to drive fronts, and also you can use it for the music. Modern home cinema processors are really good, and there are several modes including the high-end stereo. You can use it for them, and then you can use one channel from one of the boards for a central channel, and you can get 200 watts out of it. And then for the satellites you can use another one, so you can build exceptionally good 5-channel system. Or if you have an active subwoofer, 5 1-channel system. A little bit about the design considerations. You can see here is a high noise area and here is a high noise area. So they put it together, and the low noise and high sensitivity circuits are away from this high noise. Also, board is moved a little bit closer to that high noise part, because here also is a high noise, and then maximum distance to the low noise area. Everything has been set in a right way. Also, you can see that internal wiring is done in layers. The lower layer, here you have a low-level signal, inputs and management signals, and high-level signals, outputs are on a upper level. They are away from each other. This is technically correct way how to make it. And the mains also is going only close to those high noise areas. Those are not noise sensitive, and then you will get the perfect silence of that design. By adding brackets to the enclosure, you can put them in some professional cases, like here, and then put all system together. Also make it mobile if you want. There's plenty of options how can you further develop your system. There are several active crossovers. This is DBX clone, just some another company, and I bought it for a reasonable price. But those DBX crossovers, they have this one low light. Those crossovers are regional. For example, I bought it in Europe, and I can't sell it to United States due to the voltage difference. In EU those are 220 volts, and in America it's 110. Otherwise, pretty good option. I tested it and I'm happy. But for commercial purposes we will use this Behringer Super X Pro. It has a worldwide mains, and then all the system become universal. As a products, we will sell them as a kits, like this. Of course there will be added assembling components, but it is fully pre-assembled. All wiring is done, and generally speaking, final assembling is plugging connectors in the right way. Well, there are plenty of connectors. Definitely I will make detailed assembling instructions, and that will be our new product for this year. And the second product will be fully assembled unit, assembled, tested with the boards. As I said, we should fit within 1500s. We will do all possible to fit in, and that means you will have all amplifiers, you will have crossover, you will have connection wires, and you will have a 7-meter long speaker connection cable. And if you communicate with us and send some, and also we will offer some small handy service. If you communicate and send us adapter plate drawings, we will cut from 2mm aluminium adapter plate with a hole that you can replace something on your speakers and make easy modifications. That all connectors are done. And summarizing, this new product is targeting next generation audio system. It's hard to call active speaker system because speaker is totally passive, so even not a passive crossover there. And as I mentioned, I think a future would be correct that you have a choice between active crossover system or passive crossover system. Active crossover system means that crossover is before amplifier and you need 6 amplifiers to drive a speaker. And passive crossover system means that you need a 1 amplifier, and all those crossing filtering frequencies are done with a passive crossover. And then you have a choice, either to adding separate box with a passive crossover, or you are adding that 6 amplifier solution. A little bit about the pricing. Our main product is a kit, and it is pretty complicated kit. It has a number of relatively high cost components if you want to really make it great. And we made a choice to make it great, and the key trade-off was those output connectors. Those are expensive, but those are solving potential mistakes, and who knows, maybe it's a really wise decision comparing to problems what could make a 3-way system with the mistakes. Currently we are setting price for $369. It's a year 2025. Who knows how it will be in the future. And for fully integrated system, when you have everything, only thing what you need, you should add that plate to your speakers what you want to modify. We want to keep it in the 1500s, but in reality I think we will set a price for $1599.